Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is your Gemini reading for January 2026. So, Gemini, let's see what we have in store for you this month. All right. Okay, Gemini, your current position is the High Priestess. Now, the High Priestess is somebody who um, she's able to communicate between the conscious and subconscious. Her third eye is very open. She's able to see through secrets. Can't really hide secrets from her. So that's a very good position to be in, simply because you're going to be aware of things that are happening around you. All right, now let's take a look at the strengths. Here we have the Eight of Swords. Now, the Eight of Swords is all about you feel like you're trapped in a certain situation, but that is how you perceive yourself. But you're really the real thing is you're not. So you can see the image here. This is the woman. She's looking into a mirror or a puddle of water or something, and she sees herself as being trapped. And she really, really isn't. Okay. Now, how does that work with the High Priestess? So, that's your present day card, right? So the Eight of Swords is basically saying, realistically, you're still able to see between both worlds. You can see how your strength is to be able to see clearly. You can see the area where you may be trapped, but you can also see where you're not trapped. So you have that ability, that clarity that you bring to situations. Your weakness here is the Empress card. Now, the Empress, she's all about, she's a motherly card. So she's all about, love, passion, taking care of things. She's also very connected. So you can see the line right to the moon. So she does have a lot of intuitive ability. The other thing with the Empress could signify pregnancy, new beginnings. Okay, so a weakness here, the way I see with the High Priestess, is that things that might get in your way of seeing things clearly is your caring nature. Okay, so like I said, the Empress is the mother figure of the deck. She's very caring. So those emotions can get in the way of seeing things clear. Now, this card is your recent past and the Six of Swords. So that's telling me that recently you've walked away from some kind of a situation that was involving some kind of drama. It was rough and you wanted to get out of Dodge. You packed your bags, your kid, your family, whoever. You moved to a different area, a different situation, or you could have left a job to go to a new job, that kind of a situation. But you're leaving rough waters to smooth. Okay. And then your near future, we've got the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is not the greatest of cards. It's really talking about having sleepless nights, having anxiety. So Gemini, it looks like, you know, with this amount of clarity that you have, the vision that you have, it allowed you to get away from somewhere. Okay. But at the same time, because you can see things so clearly, it can cause a lot of sleepless nights and anxiety, right? So it's like they say, when you become awake, life is not as joyful or happy anymore because you can see through things. All right, now let's look at the four corners. The first one being your element of earth. And here we have the Four of Cups. Okay, so how does the Four of Cups relate to the High Priestess? And also being in the earth element position. So it it really to me is kind of saying take a step back, right? And really think about the things that you need in your life, whether it be emotional, materialistic, those types of things. Take a step back, and look at it from a clear perspective. So don't rush into anything. Your next card here is the element of air, and we have judgment, right? Judgment signifying an awakening. And in the air position, it's about the mindset, the way you think about things. Well, it's very clear. So you've had some kind of an awakening. You can see clearly, you can think clearly. And that's why it relates very clearly to the high priestess, who can see through things, right? So there's something that happened in your life that triggered an awakening. um, it's almost like the puzzle pieces came together and you're like, wow, that's it. Okay. So, and that's how we got to the position of the high priestess. Next, we have the element of fire. So let's take a look at that. We have the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is showing a little bit of conflict, but you come out on top. Okay. So you can see that the person's kind of sitting in their bubble, and they're being prodded by different wands, by different people, but it's not affecting that person. Right. So, and it being in the fire position is telling me that you have that strength, that passion to push back and hold your ground. And the other thing is, you see it coming, right? You know that it's coming in your direction. So you're able to put yourself in that protective bubble. The last card here is the element of water, and we've got the Three of Swords. So emotionally, somewhere along the lines, you've been hurt in a drastic fashion. Um, and I think that hurt really catapulted you to be able to see things clearly. So a lot of times, when people go through something that's very painful, they have an awakening, or they have some kind of an experience that, um, they're like, I've had enough. I want to get away from the drama. I want to move on. And then you have that, you move on towards the high priestess to be able to see clearly. Um, the other thing I want to look at here is your external influences, which is the top line. So the top line here is kind of telling me that somebody around you, or the way you see yourself around, the way you think other people interpret you, or look, or the way they see you, is, you're a little bit, when it comes to the emotional side of things, a little bit distraught. You might feel you might be a little bit reserved. um, and again, and I want to say again, it's because of that awakening. So sometimes when you have that awakening, emotionally, you might shut down. You might be more silent in general, just simply because that joy in life has been somewhat removed. Your internal influences of how you got to your present day, Three of Swords. Again, you've gone through a lot of pain. um, you've got that mother figure there. So it's almost as if you were nurturing somebody, or being a mother figure to somebody who ended up hurting you. And then we move to the Seven of Wands. So there's still people in your immediate circle that you feel are poking and prodding at you. So this is your internal influence. This is why you're behaving the way you are behaving, um, or the way you're interpreting things. Now, the last thing I want to do is bridge the gap. So how did you get from the past to the present, and from the present to the future? Okay, so from the past to the present, the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is about getting away with something. But the other thing I want to look, or I interpret this card in this specific deck, you can see the city here in the background, and this person is walking away, very similar to the Six of Swords here. So there's just something that you've had enough of in your life, and you're just moving away. You're just getting up and going, and you're leaving the situation that you're in. Doesn't matter. No confrontation. You're just getting out of dodge. And then going from your present to the future, we've got the Page of Cups. Pages are typically about messages. They deliver messages. And this one here is basically a message is going to come out of nowhere. So you can see the little pig flying. So what's going to happen is somewhere along the lines, everything's going really good for you. You can see clearly, but there's going to be something that's going to blindside you. Okay. So you're going to get some kind of a message from somebody. It is typically emotional in nature because it is a cup card. And that's going to lead for you to have some sleepless nights, some anxiety. We don't quite know what that is, but I'm sure you will find out. So stay tuned to next month. If you can relate to this or resonate with this reading, please let me know in the comments. And until February, shine your light.